Good evening. This is really a subcommittee for the Board of Trustees of the library to begin talking about the bylaws that we need to create for the Friends Group of the Auburn Public Library. What I did was to get materials from the Glendale Free Public Library, Eggleston branch of Boston, Ayer, North Reading, Canton, and Foxborough. And those were all people that responded on a Friends website with bylaws that they believed met the standards necessary for the IRS. But only one of those 6 was created by the Boston College Law Center. That's number 2, which is the Eggleston branch of the Boston Library. That is the single one that was done, that someone indicated was done by a lawyer. So
is that the Ayer?
The IRS.
Is that the Ayer?
No, that's the Eggleston is number 2. Egleston. And so what I tried to do was to kind of look at that one. And then I don't know how, and I'll have to find this out before some other meetings, but I sent this summary of the different components that were in the bylaws. So the name, purpose, members, board of directors, officers, fiscal management, all of those issues, and trying to at least outline which of the 6 had those components. And I can talk more about, unless anybody has a general comment about what they read, what they saw.
Well, it looks like number 6, which is Foxborough, has majority of the things listed.
Yes,
number 6 and number
6 you're talking about has most of those elements.
Right.
That is true. And it has the one important thing that was a surprise to me out of number 2, which was the one done by BC Law. It does not have a statement about dissolution in there, which the IRS absolutely requires. The dissolution statement. That is, what happens if that group disbands? What happens to the funds?
Okay.
And we've got choices for
let's see what happened here. Okay. I don't know what. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Oh, good. That was the one thing in number 2, which was the Eggleston, that needed some work. But anybody, anything else that was of interest or looked really good as far as you were concerned?
Matt, do we know when these bylaws were created?
Each of them have a date at the bottom at the end, but that doesn't tell me anything. I called one person at least, and it doesn't tell us anything because some of those are revised. And, and the only one that could be positive that it passed the IRS requirements was number 2.
Yeah.
So the others, some of them go back, I think, to 2010, all the way straight through to today. I wonder if what we could do is take a look. There are areas that we need in like number 2. And let me just explain a little bit about that. It's sort of interesting. It's the Eggleston Square one. Let me just go back here just a second to see why this is not. I'll bet this. I'm going to have to turn this off. What's happened is the iPhone is on, and while it's on, the external speaker, which is the only way I can hear this, is not connecting.
Battery 40%.
Yeah, I just muted my iPhone because I was hearing it from both the computer and the iPhone, but the only way I could do it, looking up the
Battery 40%. Connected to Matthew's MacBook Pro.
Okay, I'm connected now correctly. Okay. I turned my phone off. I would try to connect to that. In number 2, that's what I was trying to get at. You can see there's a very interesting section in that in General Provisions, Article 1, first page. Section 4 says no members. And it says a corporation shall have no members, and I thought to myself, how do you have no members if you've got a friends group? So I called her, and I found out what she was told through that law center is it is a simple, low-cost governance process that is run that the group is run primarily by a board of directors, which has to have, you can do whatever you want. We can make those bylaws however we want, but they have to have at least a minimum of 3 directors. But we could say a minimum of 5 directors. We generally have not had more than 10 people, 12 maybe, interested. I don't know what will happen here in the future, but everybody else is can be a friend in this group, but they aren't really voting members of the friends group. The board of directors is the controlling group in that. Now that can be bigger than 3 or 5. You could make that 10 if you wanted to. It doesn't matter because it's easy to amend this. But at least what she said, it makes a governance structure that's much more reasonable, much more efficient, and can respond to the needs. If there's some kind of a need that the library has, that they can respond to it without having to call a gigantic big meeting. You've got the board of directors, and whatever the majority of that is, can make that decision so that something can happen. I mean, that's something we can talk about more, but I thought that was very interesting, and I thought her explanation was kind of interesting as well.
that sounds good.
Pardon?
It sounds good to me. Makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It seems to make sense. If
not everybody was available, somebody can make a decision. Somebody's out of town.
That's what she said. That really is important. Now, they have a lot of people that participate in their group, and you can even use the term members or friends, but the fact is with the bylaws, it's the board of directors that makes the decision. And we could make that a larger group than 3 or 5, or make it 10. And then, invite people who are more active to participate in that part of it. So it's not a problem to work it. She says it's just much easier. But that's something that, the full board's going to have to think about as well, whether they're interested in doing that or not. But I'm wondering, we could have subcommittee meetings that do not require a quorum. There's no reason we could have those in the parking lot at the library if we needed to. I'm positive. Dave, we can't go in the library yet, can we?
No, no,
I didn't think
not yet.
there's so many statements about all that I was pretty sure we couldn't go in. But so we could be on the outside and the left-hand side of that library where there's a parking area. We could, as a group, meet there. And that would not be a problem. And we would just keep minutes of that meeting. And whoever wanted to participate could come, not participate, but whoever wanted to come and observe the meeting, they're welcome to do that. But it is a subcommittee, and that's different than a board meeting. So just something that we might be able to think about. I'm wondering if we could have some people who would be willing to work on, like, and maybe starting with number 2, to work on general provisions, that section, but include in that section a statement about autonomy of the Friends group, a statement on dissolution, a statement about purpose, and non-discrimination. Because those are things I found in those other 5 or 6 that might be really important in that general section.
Okay.
Is
We can borrow, right?
Oh, yes. No, everybody said you can take it right off the sheet of paper and use it as is. And actually, I went on the MBLC site. They only had 5 or 6 of these, and only one, the Northborough one, was at all helpful. The others were, I think, too old, is what Foxborough, that was the one that I took off there. So, and everybody says, you just use freely whatever anybody else has done. I feel a little more confident, and I tried to talk to Phil Shea today, but he was not available. I feel more confident using one that the Law Center has gone through.
Okay.
And so that's it. Would anybody like to, before we have another subcommittee meeting, which we can talk about on Thursday, does anybody want to at least try to put something together on a purpose, on a general provisions, which is like Article 1?
I can do that.
I'm sorry?
I'll do that.
I'd be glad to help you with that. We can do it together.
You
Okay.
talk about Suzette?
Have you printed these?
Yes,
All of
I sure
That'll
have.
be very helpful, 'cause I'm just going by my phone, and it's
Oh,
difficult.
I got them all printed, Suzette.
Okay. Sounds good.
If the two of you want to do that and to work on that and just add those other 4 parts to the general provisions, the autonomy,
Okay.
dissolution, I'll send you that,
Okay.
purpose and non-discrimination, then we would have that in there.
Okay.
Now, I don't know, in none of these where it says non-discrimination, let's see, where's the non-discrimination? Number 6. The only thing they list that the organization does not discriminate on the basis of disability, gender. Well, it includes everything: sexual orientation, age, race, color, national. All right, that one
Boyd and-
does include everything. I thought it was limited, but it's not. So if
What is that, Matt?
Which one is from-
number 6,
Yeah,
it's Article 3.
okay.
I'm sorry, it's the Friends of Boyden Library Foundation. It's Foxborough.
Foxborough.
getting something done on that would get us just about halfway there, because all the rest of it there's an awful lot of details, and that what the officers do, that's almost all of them have the same thing. It's not like there's much difference in any of them. So,
Did all of them have membership fees?
I'm sorry?
Did all of them have membership fees?
No, they don't all have membership fees. And that's what the person from that Boston branch, Eggleston, was talking about. People can donate, members can donate, and they're told that they can donate, but nobody keeps any list, nobody keeps anything. If they donate, fine. If they don't donate, they can still be on the board of directors. They can still be participants, you know, but that's it. But they don't charge. And a lot of them have, well, one of them has all kinds of details about levels of membership and the rest of that. That's enough to drive you nuts.
Yeah.
You know, if the group ever wanted to do something about corporate membership or something like that, I don't know. But they have at the end the ability, the board of directors of this group would have the ability to adjust a bylaw with the majority of votes of the board of directors. So they could change that if they wanted to, if they saw that there was some need to do that.
Okay, good.
So if you, and what I'll try to do Thursday at a regular board meeting, try to ask whoever wants to come, and we'll just plan on that out in the library parking lot. That's all. We can bring our own chairs, and then I'll bring a couple extra, and then if somebody, you know, wants to come to observe the meeting, they're certainly welcome to do that. We'll have a couple extra chairs. I was pretty sure we couldn't go in the library yet. You know, I tried to read all that stuff. So, but that's fine. We can do that out there. And if it rains, we'll do what they did with the town meeting. We'll have a rain date for it. Do you want to? Well, let's wait till Thursday to plan on that.
Okay. So Thursday's still virtual.
Thursday is still virtual, yes. And that's a regular board meeting, not any kind of subcommittee meeting.
Subcommittee, yeah.
And I've checked on those links the same way I did with this one about, well, at least 10 times to make sure that that link was correct. I don't know. What looks like to me is that when I sent that out to the board, the link looks like, well, I have to explain all this Thursday anyway, but that's okay. It looks like it said Library Board of Trustees instead of that number. The number was at the bottom, but it wasn't at the top. And so that's how, so now I'm crazy about watching to make sure that it's always a number and doesn't say Library Board of Trustees. So
Well,
at any rate,
I went on last time when we all were the trustees together, I went on your email. Tonight, I went on the town site. And
that's exactly correct. That's what I said is we'll never do anything except go off the agenda. And actually, when somebody asked me for that tonight, I took it off the agenda instead of off the printed. It says copy invitation on the go to meeting, and that's what I did. But
Did it
that's
work?
not what worked. So now I even have the agenda open on the bottom here, so that in case somebody needed it, I could just go to the agenda HTTPS number and send that, so that there wouldn't be any problem with that. But I could tell it was working with Chris on, so that was good. Okay, so if we work on the purpose, if Suzette and Paula can work on that, and let's say we'll try to have something either next Tuesday or Wednesday, a subcommittee on the bylaws for the Friends. There's another issue, and this is what Phil is to help me with. I don't know, some of them call it corporations, some of them call them foundations, and others just call them groups. What's the other thing that they call them? Organization. And there must be some reason that people choose one or the other of those three titles. And I believe that he can give us the answer for that. He's working from home now too, so that makes it kind of complicated. His administrative person is at the office. So anyhow, I'm sure I'll be able to talk to him before, but if Suzette and Paula want to work on those general provisions, and if anybody else that's on now is interested in offering anything to them, something that they ought to think about or consider, but those areas that are listed there, plus the purpose. I think the purpose is, some of the purpose statements that are already on here are really good. And some of them get so long that it's just, I don't know why, but there's got to be a shorter way. Even the ones on the MBLC that we used at the meeting in December are long. So I think that they can be pretty straightforward. And, I think that almost all of these have a trustee member and the library director or a designee that can attend the director's meeting. But both of those people are non-voting. Both the director designee and the trustee member are non-voting members, so that there isn't any concern that autonomy is challenged in the Friends group. But it's also very clear in the Friends group that what they have to do cannot be outside of the scope that would support the library. And they can't do anything that the library director is not, hasn't already, well, it's part of the sort of what they're expected to do. They can't go beyond that. And the library director could easily say, that's not happening because it's not part of what your organization is supposed to be doing. So there's no problem with the authority lines, but the autonomy is important for the Friends group to know. But it's not as though it's loose. And the primary thing is fundraising and community involvement, those kinds of things. And we really do hope that fundraising comes out as the strongest element in this. It's something that the trustees can't do and the library personnel can't do, but the Friends can engage the community in offering to help the library financially. Okay. The other, I don't know, I'll be happy to work on the director's section. Does anybody else want to participate in working on that director's section? Well, I'll work on that and do whatever I can to put something together. We don't have to worry about this. This isn't until the July 8th meeting that we're going to present anything, and then it's still rough. It's a draft. But by then, we'll have had a chance to meet probably 2, maybe 3 times, see what we've been able to put together, and then present that to the board, and then go back and do whatever work the board thinks is necessary. Let's see. Did anybody else have anything particular within reviewing these materials that look like we ought to be careful with, or we want to make sure we avoid? Anyone?
I don't think so.
Well, I tried to read everything a couple times, but it's easy to miss things. Okay, well, somebody will, I'm sure, in reading it eventually say, I don't think this makes much sense or not. But I'll work on the director's part, and then the two of you work on the general purposes part, provisions, general provisions. And then the rest of it, you know what, with that directors, I'll also, because this is pretty easy, do the officers, what the role of the officers are. I think that's pretty straightforward. If anyone has any suggestions about anything that you read about the directors or the officers, let me know that. And if you have anything about the general provisions in those 8 different categories, the first 4 that are listed in the general provisions on that Eggleston branch, and then the autonomy, dissolution, purpose, and non-discrimination. You know, if you have that, let Suzette and Paula know. And on the directors and officers, you can let me know. And then I don't know what else we'll do, but we can talk about it at a meeting that we have. And we'll do that face to face. I think that we'll have so many more papers available. I'll try to bring a table with, if I can get that in the car, as well as a couple chairs, and then so that we've got something to we've got to keep our 6 feet in our masks for sure. But you know, a couple people can work off the table if we need to, and some on TV trays.
Do we use the picnic table? Do we use the picnic table in the back of the library?
Are those in
Is there a
decent
picnic
shape?
table outside?
Are they in decent shape?
Bring a tablecloth.
Last I looked, they were in decent shape.
Okay. Do we have a problem with the geese back there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
Bring it
Well, maybe we'll stay in the parking lot. It doesn't make any difference. I'll put on the agenda that we're going to be at 369 Southbridge Street, and I'll put outside, right side parking area, so that anybody can find us. It's not, that there's any problem. Maybe what I'll do also is put the phone number of the library on that posting, so that in case somebody can't find us, they can call the library and be told that we're sitting out there. Okay. I'm sorry? Oh, I thought somebody said something. All right. In looking at the materials, is there anything else for right now that you think we ought to be doing with this?
No.
Suzette, I think what we might need to do, depending on what Phil says, we may very well need to go back to the list of people who were at the December 18th meeting and have a friends meeting, so that they could, at least on a very temporary basis, because we have to give that to Phil as he tries to reinstate us, a president, treasurer, and a clerk. Those are the
I think it's going to
only
be
3
hard to do
offices that we need. So,
during the summer.
Right.
I think it'll be hard to get them to come to a meeting during the summer.
okay, this is not something I have to put a notice on. Maybe we can do a go-to meeting with whoever might be around. But
Well, most of the people that signed up were either book club members or knitters.
right.
There are a few other people, but most of them were from those 2 groups.
Okay.
And neither one of
You know
those
what we
groups
can-
meet during the summer.
You know what we'll do? We can, the next time we try to meet, maybe next Tuesday or Wednesday in the library parking lot, we'll try to think about how we might be able to do that.
Okay.
But I know that he needs at least 3 officers. So we have a treasurer, and that will work out fine until we're reinstated, and we really invite all those 40-some people to a meeting, and then they select their board of directors, and then the board of directors votes on their officers. So we've got time for that, so I'm not going to worry about it then. You could be right. It'd be so much easier if we could do it face to face. I think it works a lot easier.
With blackline copies instead of computer, instead of using your phone to read the documents. It's much easier to just highlight the parts you want. It's much easier to use blackline copies so you can just highlight the parts you want to copy.
Yes. Now, there's 2 of these, I think, are PDF files instead of doc files.
Yeah.
Right.
But we can still, I know, we can alter that. Do you have access to printers, Suzette?
I do not.
Okay. I see, I can see Dave is not muted. Gene,
We
can
have a
you hear
lot.
me?
Dave,
What?
Did you want to ask me a question?
Wait,
could we get a copy of these?
Gene's on. Can you hear me, Gene?
Yes.
Okay. Could we get some copies of those 6 plus the summary?
Mhm.
And it's not, we don't, if we, let's see, what's a good day for anybody? Let's say, is Thursday too soon to have those available?
No, you can have them tomorrow if you want to. We would put them outside for you for pickup, just like we're doing with curbside pickup. So if I know who wants them, we'll just put them in an envelope with the name on it, and you can pick them up.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Well, Nan is working on this committee, so she's definitely going to want one. I want one.
Okay. Paula, you're all set?
I'm all set.
Mary will probably need a set, and I don't know if Jen wants a set, but if we have those 4 sets available, I'll tell them, I'll send an email tonight that would let them know that, tomorrow afternoon, or?
Yeah.
Do they need to call the library to tell them that they're picking them up, or?
Nope, if you tell me what time, we'll put them out and leave them out. We're a curbside pickup. People choose an hour, and we leave things out for that 1 hour, but we can do that differently. They said there's a cart, there's a book truck out on the front to the left, and I'll put them on the bottom shelf. So we'll just
Okay.
leave them in the afternoon so they can come when they need to. But so who
Okay.
did, Mary, Nan, and who else?
Who's that?
Suzette?
Yep.
And Jen, but I don't know if Jen will be picking up a copy or not.
If she doesn't, we'll just take it at the end of the day. It's fine.
Okay, all right.
Do you want me to pick it up for Jen and put it in her mailbox?
That would be perfect.
Inside her doors where I usually put the
Okay.
notes. Okay, I'll pick up Jen.
I'll send that to Jen, because I'll send that email tonight.
Okay.
Okay, well, that's good. Everybody will have
Copy on
copies of that. Excuse me?
You just make sure you copy me on it, just so I don't forget
Oh,
the
yeah.
email.
Okay, good. All right, well, this is just a preliminary start to the work on this. And I'm really kind of excited about getting this part of it started, and then to vote on it, and then to get our reinstatement going. There is a little issue with the IRS. It is almost impossible, and you have to with this reinstatement, to get a human response. And he's spent a lot of hours on hold, just waiting, trying to get somebody, because you have to have somebody that takes you through the steps of reinstatement. It's not simple. That's where all the financial issues come in and all the rest of it, because there could be fines as well as whatever else. I don't know whatever else. So, all right, thank you very much. Anybody else have any questions or comments about this?
No, Suzette and I will get together.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll be,
And I'll work on my part of it, and we'll try to figure out next Tuesday or Wednesday, but we can settle what day, and then get notice to everybody.
Okay,
sounds good.
All right?
Thank you,
Very
Matt.
good. Well, thank you, everybody.
thank you.
Appreciate this. We got a nice start.